Hey guys, Mackenzie here. So today I just wanted to do a little bit of an editing breakdown on Spinel finds out about Pearl's secret rap career. I get this kind of requested all the time. Even people just asking, how did you make this, or people asking for more in-depth editing tips. So I figured I would take the time to sort of break it down for you guys, the whole process of the video. So a little bit of background on the project is obviously Pearl's Secret Rap Career, if you guys are familiar with it, is a series I started back in 2016 maybe. There's been a lot of incarnations of different videos of characters finding out, and it kind of culminated in a couple different ways. Like, everyone finds out about Pearl's Secret Rap Career, where I had Dee Dee Magno Hall kind of make a cameo, and then I made Steven's Secret Rap Career, which was a collaboration between me and Dee Dee and Zach Callison. But I, sort of thought that the series was sort of put to rest there, because I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to bring it back unless there's some reason to, there's something changes and I suddenly get inspiration for a follow-up video. And that's exactly what happened with Spinel. The mechanic, or like the gimmick of her, getting her memory wiped, or her having to wait there for so long, just tied in so well. It's so easy to see how that would work with, Pearl's Secret Rap Career, a song that nobody can seem to forget, and it just is like an earworm that nobody can stop looping over and over in their head. So it just worked too well to not make something with it. So I can show you guys. Now I'll just do some editing breakdown. I'll start at the beginning. You can see here this shot of, Peridot, in the Pearl Secret Rap Career lore. Peridot broadcasts the rap across the galaxy at the end of Lapis finds out about Pearl's Secret Rap Career. And so I figured, that would reach Spinel. So these are still shots from different. I think they're both from the movie of where Steven's like warping across the galaxy. And then I had this shot of the garden, and just this little clip from the movie of Spinel getting the message from Steven. But obviously it's modified here. I've put in Pearl's Secret Rap Career. But I put in, I think I've got a mask here. You can see the mask. I added an effect called Hollow Matrix by Red Giant that just adds like lines on there that makes it look like it's like a hologram or something. And then I tinted it to make it pink, and I modified the brightness and contrast as well, just to make it look like it was part of the screen. And then I had some distortion effects applied to the audio here, to make it sound like it's sort of glitching out when it turns on. So Spinel looks at it, and then I have more of those distorted audio segments, and the hollow matrix is easier to see here with like the glitching audio, video feed. And I included a little icon that indicates that the video is looping, which some people picked up on. My intention was to sort of show, as an explanation, because, obviously, in Pearl's Secret Rap Career continuity, Garnet and Pearl destroyed the communication hub, which, intuitively would stop the broadcast from being sent out. But because, my justification was because Spinel's been on this garden for so long, and it's sort of old and run down, the communicator there is glitchy, and it's just looped it continuously since it hasn't received anything in so long. So that's why the video ends up looping. And so then I just played it in reverse, this clip of her when she looks over there, so it just makes her look back, and she just looks devastated. I used a couple different things to put this together, the space stuff. I think I had to edit together a couple, stitch together some screenshots, and then use some space background stuff, and it just edited them together in Photoshop and slow zoomed out. And then I have the end of the song with a little bit of reverb here, to make it dramatic. I try and just be as ham-fisted and absurd as possible with these videos because the ridiculousness of it is what makes it funny, you know, and so I just try and go, you know, 3 steps beyond what would be considered normal to make these videos work. Yeah, so let's just talk about Spinel Lisa. Oh my god. Okay, so my friend Lalu drew this, who is incredible. I've been working with Lalu I've worked with her on several different projects. I think we first worked together, I think the first time was when we were like, I made like the video of Jasper, insisting Steven is rose quartz over and over again. And she drew this version of Jasper with like these ridiculous, like, there were like nostrils on her gem. It was just hilarious. And so we included that in the video, and then we ended up working together on Pearl's secret rap career, or on Steven's secret rap career. So when I posted a teaser of Spinel finding out about Pearl's secret rap career on my YouTube channel, I got way bigger response than I anticipated. And so I was like, oh gosh, like I need to make this really good. So I kind of called in as many favors as I could, including Lalu. So I commissioned her to make this. I was like, can you make this face of can you make Spinel waiting in the garden, except with this, you know, Lisa Simpson face, just like to capture the devastation. And she said, sure, and she edited out the background and everything. She's a pro. So when she got it back to me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious, you know? And I wanted to make sure that I used it as well as I could, because it was just, I mean, it was funnier than I was even anticipating, and I was already anticipating it was going to be funny because it's Lalu. So I kind of did this dramatic sequence where it's zooming through the display, you know, like the camera's panning through it and then glitches out as soon as it hits the camera. It's like, it phases through, and you see the reveal of this devastated Spinel. And then I ended up using it in the thumbnail as well, because I just thought it was that funny. And then we see Spinel. I did some, you know, similar tricks with the display here. The mask and the hollow matrix and everything, blah, blah, blah. Smashing the display. But this is actually from later in the film when she's getting angry at Steven. This is after she's sort of turned back to her old self. I just was lazy and cropped it out. So that's what that is. And then cut immediately to Spinel landing on Earth. I figured everybody knows what happens in between then and now, so why show it? The air horn thing was not originally going to be a part of this project. I just had it in as like a little joke, like while I was editing, and then I was like, I kind of got attached to it, you know, and I thought it was funny. And I was also kind of worried about people like losing interest, because the beginning kind of does have a slow start. So I wanted to add a little bit of a joke there, and I just got attached to it, and so I kept it in. You know, she says, pink diamonds, Pearl. And then we got a little bit of lip sync here. You know how it is. So yeah, I got the different lip positions, lip flaps, and have Pearl say Spinel. Because she doesn't actually name drop her there in the original movie, but I just wanted to make it a little different here. This stupid sequence of her going on loop is just so dumb. I can show you guys. Yeah, okay, here we go. I'm pulling up the linked composition here so you guys can see the After Effects thing I did here. So, this is just stupid. I really just, here's the loop, you know, make the little mouth shapes there. They go in sync with the audio. And I have the right hands moving according to these keyframes. And, it's so dumb. And then I have the, oh gosh, where's the, oh yeah, here's the shape. Okay, so that's the line that I draw, and it just sort of moves according to the little, like, the path that I set for it. So you can see it transforms with keyframes over time and then moves alongside the line. It's such a dumb thing. I just did it because in the original like scene, where she says, "I've had your little message to the universe on loop." She like goes and kicks Steven, which wasn't gonna work because I wanted to make this a showdown between her and Pearl. So I just made her do that stupid like infinity sign thing instead, just for emphasis. And then yeah, we see a little bit of Spinel's riding the injector on the way to Earth, and I just sampled footage from Adventures in Light Distortion for this, and applied I think it's RGB separation, and camera shake from Red Giant. So that's what I used there. I think I just sampled these different frames of the injector so that we could show that it's moving. So it's not just a like static PNG, because I thought that might look kind of tacky. And then we move into the LA remix. Oh goodness. We're already at 10 minutes. Okay, great. So LA and remixing. Okay, I tried to get access to the instrumental version of LA by reaching out to the producer of the song, but they unfortunately don't have access to it anymore. They don't know where it is. So I just had to use the original song and remix it with the other friends, which thankfully is, the movie was released in 5.1 surround sound, so you can separate out the vocal tracks, so that made it a lot easier. So I had her just sort of follow the standard thing here. I had the LA as the backing track. This part was actually a pretty complex edit to do, actually. I did some shenanigans, basically. I did some shenanigans. Let's see. Okay, is it over? Yeah. Okay, so I moved Spinel. This is so dumb. I used Spinel, like, because originally this sequence is, Spinel slides over, fights Garnet, dodges, goes over to Pearl, and then flicks her, and then moves over to Amethyst. But I wanted, like I said, I wanted this to be a face-off between Pearl and Garnet specifically, or Pearl and Spinel specifically. So I edited together this of Pearl just standing here, and I had I moved this frame, moved this little video of Spinel as she moved to have her, like, so it implies that she wasn't fighting Garnet at all. She just slides right in to fight Pearl, and then flicks her on the nose, and I again had to do lip sync here, which was a little complicated because she is moving so much, and so there's the lip sync. Oh, this was a nightmare. I think that's the S face there. You can see the S. I moved it over a little bit because the camera moves, and then there's the swell. I just drew that myself because under here is the S. So you can see that, I could go through every frame of this and you would see, all the lip syncing I did, but you don't want to see that. So I'm just going to keep moving. That's how I do that. And then I had to make, her flick the nose, and then I think this is, where is it? I move it over. So, like, I did the same trick that I used to pan in to pan out while keeping Pearl in the center of the frame. Keep her in the frame instead of moving the camera over to Amethyst. And then we go to this. I meet it. This is actually really lucky. She slinks off where in the regular scene, she slinks off and goes to Amethyst and then goes over there. I just had her slink off, immediately go to this. And that was, some more lip syncing was required, I think. Maybe it wasn't. Oh. It was not, actually. There you go. Sometimes it works out nice like that. This sequence... Oof! Sorry, my chair is really squeaky. I have, Pearl being flung into the stratosphere. I think for these... Yeah. See, Steven's under there originally. This sequence has her fling Steven in there, but I just manually have inserted Pearl into here. It's so stupid. And so I just had to Photoshop those myself. And I think I used the different ones from her and other friends where she's like getting flung around by Spinel or something. And this one I just have Pearl, and I just have some keyframes of her flying into the sky. And you see I do use a every other frame thing to try and match the look of traditional animation because they're animating on 2s. So we cut immediately to the sky. Oh my gosh. I say that every time I get to a new sequence, but they're all just so much. I did so much in that. I did the most in this video. It was so obnoxious. So, okay, let's start with the background. We have the background. This is just... this is so stupid. I just looped this part of, I tried to find the sequence where Steven was, the most furthest off screen that I could so that I could get the pieces of this background. And then I just, mirrored them and zoomed in a bunch. And so, you're not paying much attention to the background anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference that it's just kind of bad. But it's fine. And then I added in Pearl. Oh my god. Okay, so this is all from... Gosh, I don't even know if I have the original video here anymore because it's from the sequence in Happily Ever After where she goes, yeah, that one. Oh god. Okay, let's find it. Yeah, that. She goes, and after love and loss and all the tears that I cried, I find it. Yeah. But left her side. Yep. Yeah, there. I just used that. So, yeah. So, okay, I had to edit the... Okay, I was actually pretty lazy about this one, too, because you can see the guitar strap is here. That is not her jacket. It's obvious. But I just was I'm tired. So, I divide these up into individual poses, and then I have the job of manually recoloring them, which I broke down on my Twitter, and I did a little trick here because you can see in this scene of the movie, they're being lit from below because they're flying up through the sky, and obviously I don't have a color palette for this either, so I kind of had to improvise a color palette for Pearl here by using referring to the difference between Steven's standard color palette and the color palette he had when he was flying in the air in this scene, or in the original scene of the movie. So I did that, and I recolored it, and then I used the parts of her that were originally in shadow during this sequence. Yeah, you can see that right here, she's under her chin is a shadow. But under here, it's actually the lighter part because she's being lit from below. So I just did that manually in Photoshop, and then I did all the lip syncing. And so once I had that matching the audio, where she's saying "Let the city turn" or whatever she's saying at that part, yeah, round and round, let the city turn. And so you can't even see that it's not the guitar strap is in there. So it doesn't matter. And I had her moving across the screen. I think I tried to animate this part on 2s, but then it looked wrong, so I just went with my gut. And I said, I had a horizontal flip because I wanted her to, be looking to the side and then move, look towards Spinel, she was, it was like she's reaching out to her, trying to make some peace here. And then I had basic 3D swiveling it around a bit. So there she goes. And then I added on these spinels for where she's like panning in front of the camera, just to add a little bit more depth to that as well, and match some of the original feel of the scene where they are having like these full 3D rotations. This sequence was a nightmare as well, because these are from when she's going like, what is she even saying? You can't just make everything better by singing some stupid song. And so she's actually got like that. There it is. You can see that she has this whole fist in front of her. So I had to take that out and recolor this whole thing so that they're being lit from below still, and using her color scheme from when she was flying up in the air. And how long is this video? Oh god, it's at 20 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna okay, so I recolored the whole thing, and then I used this, I don't even know which scene I got this from anymore. I don't even know. I had to redraw a lot, I think. I used the lip sync that I did, normal lip sync, and then I moved her eyes as well, to make it look like she was looking at Pearl. So the actual thing looks like this, which is very cursed. And so then I had her move across like the screen like Pearl did, and have a little bit of basic 3D swivel as well. This pans across the screen, and we get, instead of Steven, it's this thing. And then this was just, some lip syncing, and I also had to crop Steven out of the scene because he's not supposed to be there. Which was I just keep saying it, but it was a nightmare. I mean, it just was, So this is like I think this is like the zoomed in version of the sky that I used to cover him up here, and then I just tracked it manually across the screen, and like the scaling and everything, so you could see, yeah, this is why I had to do all those funky zooming, is because like there's, it cuts off her foot and stuff. So then I added Pearl in, and that is from, okay, I think I got her in this sequence. First of all, what a look. That's terrifying. I got her from, like, in Independent Together when she's falling through the sky. That's where I got these shots from, which is so dumb. And then I, like, interpolated them to make it look like it's moving smoother than it actually is, because it was actually just, like, 4 frames that I sampled. And so I recolored them, and I put them here, and it's just a mess. And so this is not edited at all. That's my favorite kind of scene. And then I just was kind of lazy about this, too. I could have shown Pearl getting hit by the fist, but I said, I'm tired. So I didn't. And then it cuts straight from the, in the movie when Spinel hits the injector, it doesn't explode right then. It just, she just makes it like it all cracked, and then she jumps down onto it. But I said, no, we don't have time for that. And so I just made it explode. Fun fact, these are sampled from, these impact frames are sampled from Midoriya versus Todoroki in My Hero Academia. Yeah, you heard me right. That's what I got these from. Because I thought it was funny, and I just love including them whenever I can. Because of this is the work of Yutaka Nakamura, who's like a prolific animator and does just some incredible effects animation and a lot of great action sequences from, various popular shows these days. And so I use those to show the explosion, but like you can see here, there's like the blocks that are flying, which doesn't make sense because there's nothing to break up here, but I just did it anyways. And then we cut to there we go. This is Pearl lying on the floor. I composited together the background from a couple different shots. I don't even know anymore. And then I had Pearl falling, which I cut out from, like, when she falls, when she's, like, dodging Spinel or something. And she's originally holding her spear, which is why her hand looks like that, and I think I just never fixed it. I was tired, okay? And then I just had her get crushed by a stone, because I was like, That's comedy, right? That's funny. That's a funny joke. So yeah, she did, and that was a whole other nightmare. Why do I do this? You know, I don't know. It's fun. And so I had a dust cloud that I had to, yeah, I think I used like an effect here to do like, yeah, the mask. Okay, I don't know what I did. I really don't know what I did, actually. I really do not know. I wish I could tell you. I don't know what I was doing. So somehow I made Pearl show up behind the stone and the dust cloud and make it work. Oh, I think I do know what I did. I think I used... Oh, never mind. I don't know what I did. Did I use like a tint or something? No, I have no idea. So, it's a mystery how I did that shot. Here we have Spinel falling down on the ground. I think I got this shot from like when Connie's calling out, "Steven, where are you?" And it just has a vertical pan, so I used that for this shot. These shots of Spinel falling are sampled from like when she like lands back on the injector, actually. You'd see like, yeah, like there. This part. There we go. And so I cut those out and recolored them. But I didn't do a very good job because it's a lot pinker than the rest of the shots are. So it's a little funky, but you know, we make it work. And then I did the same thing for, like when she lands here is there. And that's what I used for that. Pearl, like, lifts the rock off of her in a very crudely made, you know, rotated PNG with like a little smoke effect and a pan in there, a little bit of multi-plane camera, you know how it is. And I just literally just had the static image of Pearl just pan in at a different rate from the background, which gives the illusion of depth, kids. So then I was tired, and so Spinel, instead of like having her like actually animate, I just had her pound the ground again when she said that by using the the falling frames. Okay, this is called reduce, reuse, recycle. And so this this sequence, oh my god, I'm just having flashbacks. Yeah, so I had lip synced it and I roto brushed it all at once. I think life is a mess, dude. And I'm just gonna try and linked comp, try and see if I can find the linked composition, because I had so many. Yeah, okay, I think this is it. Let's open that up. Come on, work me here. We're at 27 minutes. I don't know if any of you guys are going to make it to this long in the video, because this is a nightmare. And, you know, it's fine. It's fine. That's not what people want to see. The people want to see this. New. So please be the one I want to show you. Please be the one I want to show you. This will show you how I cut things out from the background sometimes. Yes. Okay. Perfect. So the way that I do this, this is just the head shake, I think. It might just be, yeah, just that part of it. Okay. I don't know. Okay. So wait, no, actually I think it's the full thing. I don't know. So the way that I do this is dumb and bad, and that's the only way to do this. I think my computer's going to cry because I'm trying to record this while simultaneously doing this intensive roto brushing thing that I do. So we gonna see if it works, but okay, yes, perfect. So you can see here, I first of all, I had to stabilize this, which is why this is looking funky down here. Second of all, I basically cut out every frame by using this little thingy. Which, yeah, tries to predict where everything's going to be. So if I remove it from the background, it's going to make an estimate. That's terrible. So it takes a lot of strokes to accomplish anything. And you can see what some of those strokes look like here. I make just a little tiny adjustments. And I just have to do it manually every single frame, basically. It's a little bit better than doing it manually every single frame, but a lot of the time that's what it ends up basically being. So at this point I've already lip synced it. I just haven't done, I think I lip synced it first and then cut it out from the background. So anyways, it's a mess. And she's lit from below in this scene because I couldn't figure out how to, like, the way that the colors were, everything is very red in this scene. I couldn't figure out how to do the same trick that I did before, where I flipped the light and shadow parts, especially because like so much of it would be in shadow too. So for this one, it's just she's lit from below for dramatic effect is what I rationalized it as. And then I move the background according to how she's moving here. This part was fun. This is from when Steven is, I guess, yeah, this is from, like, early in the movie when Steven pulls Greg in here and is like, oh, yeah, like, she hit us all with this. Yeah. So he looked kind of reluctant there, and I just thought it was funny, and, so I cut it out from the background in that same way with the roto brush and lip synced it and had him just go, yeah. And then to apply this glow effect, I think I just have this was so stupid, but I was just so tired, so I did it in the dumbest way possible. I did color key to key out the white stuff, and then I don't even know, dude. So I keyed out the white, and made it glow. It just, all this stuff is just to make the glow. It was so dumb, but, I wanted to have the glow, because it looked dumb without it. It looked dumb. You see, that looks stupid, so I added the glow. Significantly less stupid. So he pulls out the, the rejuvenator, and I'm at 31 minutes, okay. I don't know who's going to watch this, but if you are watching a 30-minute editing breakdown, mad props. So then we have Spinel say, what? And that's her lip flap, which I have recolored here. You can see every single color replace filter I have placed on top of it to make it match the color palette, because otherwise it would look like that. So then we get her saying, what? And we cut to Steven. This is, again, using that background that I had cut out and just sort of panning along it to match. Because I in this original shot, this one, okay, I say this every time, but this one actually was kind of a pain because I had Steven in this original shot when he uses the rejuvenator has, like, all these lines on his face because he's, been hit by the rejuvenator, and it's made him all glitchy like that. And so he pulls it off, and then glitchy man looks like that. And so I had to kind of redraw a lot of this and color out the glitchy lines to make him look not glitchy, because he's not glitchy in this shot that I'm doing. So then I also recognized that it kind of, if I panned the background, it looked like he was, like, jumping down, and so I was like, okay, I'll go with that. And I just thought it was funny how she's like, what, me? And then is sniped. And explodes into a poorly edited smoke effect, and use a little bit of these little smoke effects, and then she's there waving like an idiot, and I love her. And that's again another thing where I had to cut it out from the background using Roto Brush. And I just cut out those frames and then looped it back and forth to save time, because it's just basically that in the original anyways. Now we get into some more juicy edits. Oh god, I really don't know how I did this. Okay. So we have this. I just edited out her arm loopy basically, and yeah, like set the color. You can see that the colors that I changed here. I think if I turn these off, yeah, you should see this is what it looks like originally, and it doesn't match the rest of her body because I changed the color palette, so I changed it here as well. And I cut that all out from the background, and I have his lip flaps here, which I have cut out because it's already lip synced, so I didn't need to re-lip sync it. But I did need to change the color palette because his color palette from the scene where he's saying that and the color palette that I'm using in this final scene are obviously very different. So I change it. And then, yeah, I just did the same exact thing for, all this. But then I had this line I recorded from Dee Dee. I love you, Dee Dee. And I had her, this is Pearl from, this is Pearl from, like, after they are in independent together. She gets her memories back. There's surprisingly few shots of Pearl. Yeah, this is her. Of Pearl in this movie, where it was tough because, like, not a lot of people wear their original or their normal outfits in the movie because a lot of them, basically get reset. And so, you can see here, like, yeah, she's like, I just sampled those shots, like, where she's saying Spinel. It's like, I think it's just a little earlier than that. But, yeah, so I sampled them, lip synced it, flipped it around, changed all the colors, panned it in, in a little bit of a different rate from Steven and the foreground so that it looks like there is that sense of depth. I didn't use the animating on twos thing because it looked weird again. I animated Steven's pupils moving back and forth a bit so that he looks like he's like looking back at Pearl, looking then to Spinel. I did the same tricks that I did earlier to cut this out from the background, lip sync it, and well, actually didn't have to lip sync it because it was already, that was the line that she says there. And then Steven sighs with relief, and this part is just, from the movie. And it's bright. And we cut to Steven's phone lying there on the ground, which is surprisingly hard to edit. Again. I think, yeah, this is like the phone. I used the phone that I used this background, I think. I don't even know, dude. I don't even know anymore. Yeah, I used this background and just zoomed in a bunch. See, if you were to pan over, you could see Spinel's like right there, but it doesn't matter because it's, it's a shot up close to the phone, so it doesn't matter. But that shot is from him when he's taking the selfie with the crystal gems, and I figured he put that as his wallpaper as well. I put Pearl Secret Rap Careers, it's paused there, so he's been listening to it. But, if Spinel listens to it, then she'll regain her memories, which is a very bad thing for them. So I had, cut out Spinel from the background here of, the moment when she picks up the giant pizza cutter. This was annoying because I had to redraw a lot of her outfit because the pizza cutter was, like, on top of her, So I had to redraw wherever the pizza cutter was. And then have her, like, look like she was holding the phone, and it kind of worked, so. But, yeah. So there she grabs the phone, and she says, wait. Or no, he says, wait, Spinel. And so I just, yeah. It was a mess. He doesn't actually do that in the movie, obviously. He just turns his head a little bit. He just turns his head a little bit like a normal person. And he's looking back to the crystal gems. But instead I edited it so he's like frantically, wait! And then zoom in, and like this is from her when she's holding the phone, I had to, oh yeah, that's her pupil, I guess. And yeah, I edited, this was one of actually one of the first things I edited, I guess. Spinel face, and then yeah, I think that's her thumb while she's pushing down on the phone, and then phone, and then the empty hand or the background. It was a whole mess, okay? Basically, it's a nightmare, and I just had to cut everything out and then move it together to try and replicate what happens in the show. So that's where I'm at. And then the phone lands back there. We see that the spear phone. And it's just got a little mask over it, so it looks like it impacted into the ground. And yeah, you can see. Can you see? Yeah, you can see. That's where the mask is at, so that it looks like it hit the ground. And then there's a little electricity right there. Why? A lot of people asked about where did that come from? Because he doesn't sing that in the movie. Foolish child. He in fact does, kind of. He sings. But he doesn't say "wuh." He says "tonight." So I recorded myself saying "why" or whatever. I recorded myself saying "why," and then I just spliced the two together like a clown. So then that's how that's that. I already broke down the editing for this sequence, so if you want to check that out, just look at my Twitter. And that's the video. I can show you guys a little bit of what it looked like before I did this editing nonsense. Okay, so the breakdown took 40 minutes. Absurd. First draft I had of this was a very simple thing. I think it was this one.
Finally something. Finally news about how the story ends. Round and round, let the city turn. Party in the hills, we can party in the burbs. Roof on fire, let it burn. Champagne in my hand, I'm not concerned. Round and round, let's... Pink diamonds, pearl. I've had your little message to the universe on loop. That's right, I heard the story over and over again. Gee, it's swell to finally meet her other friends. Round and round, let the city turn. What are you even saying?
So that's the first thing that I made. And then
I wish I could just forget this stupid song.
Okay.
yeah. So I was just putting together these different parts of it, basically. I think this was the first more complete version I had.
Something.
So I'm gonna change it to make it look like she's listening to it for a longer time. And then had round and round, let the city turn. Yeah, the Pearl responding to Spinel, having a little bit of back and forth. That's where that part came in. Yeah, and then I made a remix.
Gee, it's swell to finally meet her other friends. Round and round, let the city turn. What are you even saying?
Spinel curb stomps Pearl back into the ground, and then they all end up on the ground again.
I wish I
Yeah, clip uses may change. Yeah, you think.
could just forget this stupid song.
Okay.
So that was that. I'm gonna skip a few iterations, see if anything more has changed. I think this was just more lip sync and stuff added. Oh yeah, this is when I added in the new remix.
That's right, I heard the story over and 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 over again. Gee, it's swell to finally meet her other friends. Gee, it's swell to finally
Yeah,
meet
and then I had that
other
sequence
friends.
where she's confronting Pearl directly.
What are you even saying?
Yeah, I just didn't have anything for Pearl, so I just put a PNG of Pearl there and just said, this shot is going to be so terribly annoying to edit, so here's a placeholder nonsense. And we had silent crushing back on the ground, changed to land on the ground, not the injector. I had a little bit of a to-dos going on there.
Okay.
And yeah, it's still very early. I think, oh yeah, and then I added in this thing of the curtains closing, but I didn't actually do it. I just used a color key because I was like, I'm too tired to mask this out right now. And I just said, why is this happening? That was the original ending. So, we had fun. So with this iteration, we had, you know, the intro added on here. Oh yeah, at this point I added I had an approximately in there first. And then I had a, you know, just the static shot of Simpsons Spinel, as I call her. What else changed?
Friends. She finally beat her other friends. Round and round, that's when he turned. What are you even saying?
Yeah, at that point I had lip synced that part with Spinel, and then I lip synced this part and added in that little Pearl flying backwards. And I had this one's pretty close to done, but I did this last sequence pretty close to the end, so you can see it's spotty here.
I could just forget this stupid song. Okay.
Yeah, the choice to use I was originally going to use that. The choice to use those little Mimi versions of Spinel instead came pretty late. And then I added in this whole ending sequence where he starts singing, and then Spinel almost gets, you know, transformed back. That was pretty late in the process as well, but I thought it would be a fun way to put a little bow on it. You know I had to do it to him, Steve. This is before I had the VO from Dee Dee, so, yeah. Then we got closer and closer.
You know I had to do it to him, Steven.
That's exactly. I think 19 is the one I ended up using finished product. Because I have the credits here, yeah. So this is the final version, I think.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I got there. You can see there's a lot of placeholders along the way before I came to the end product.